Smart Talks. We the new cyber monks. So, some thoughts. First and foremost, shout out to my best friend Dylan Leclerc. He's the new cyber giga chat of Asia. Long Dylan. Okay, so cyber monks. I recently did a funny thing. I'm just like kind of I even unfollowed my beloved Michael Saylor. I mean, obviously I still check him, but this idea of becoming like a cyber monk is kind of an interesting thought to me. So honestly, you probably already have all the information you need to make intelligent, long leveraged decisions about stuff, right? And information is interesting because it's kind of like extracting coffee, right? Like if you don't let it like steep long enough, the coffee is gonna be too watery and it's not gonna taste good. And so typically, like, we're all about like the cold brew lifestyle, right? So stronger and more concentrated is better. So as a consequence, to do it overnight or try, and then like a fine wine, like you want to like let it age for a long time. Obviously there are limits. Or like making kimchi, right? You want to ferment it for a bit. So thoughts are the same way too, where sometimes I mull on ideas for like almost like 5 or 6 or 7 years. And even with Bitcoin and going all in on MSTR, it was mostly kind of a decision after, watching Saylor videos for about a year. And so typically with decision making, my thought is think for a very, 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 very long time about something before you decide. But once you do it, like balls to the wall, go all in. I call it like the Bitcoin blitzkrieg, right? Blitz, NFL blitz. Blitzing is the best, right? Even when I was a linebacker in high school, I played middle linebacker. To do the blitz was the most fun, right? Real men blitz. Wow, they're doing a good job on this facade. So the thought is, wait a minute, here, that's pretty cool. So the thought is, and then obviously, like, you commit to a decision. Obviously, if you have new information, you should adjust your decisions. But still, I think short-term noise should not sway your long-term decisions. So I mean, some simple thoughts, right? I think currently the only 2 people worth following on the interwebs is either Michael Saylor at Saylor or Dylan Leclerc at Dylan Leclerc _. Everyone else is just kind of noise. Also, my funny thought too, even the signal is noise. There's lots of good signal out there, but honestly, like in today's world, you have to be like insanely picky. So some examples, right? With food or what else, right? Like there's a trillion things to eat, right? So do you want to be eating like Starbucks Frappuccinos and McDonald's hamburgers for the rest of your life? Or do you want like the best ribeye, bone marrow, stuff like that, etc.? You want the best, right? There's no second best. There's also a Khmer saying, which is interesting, is always eat the best fresh food quickest. Like one of the downsides of some Asian culture, it's like the virtuosity is eating the leftovers first. I'm like, nah, why would I eat leftovers first when there's a better option right now? And like, it's obviously wasteful, but I don't think wasteful is a bad thing. I mean, if anything, to be more intelligent is better. I mean, ultimately, everything's wasteful. I mean, like, it's just according to your own philosophy. And I think the thing that's also annoying about most people too, people assume that their universal worldview is universal to all human beings. But we intelligent velociraptors, we know the truth of the matter is obviously all subjective. I think to understand the only real things that exist on the planet is physics, gravity, friction, heat, thermodynamics, and Bitcoin. Everything else is fake news. Actually, what's interesting too from a physics perspective, Bitcoin is thermodynamically sound. It's conservative, respects the laws of thermodynamics, and therefore it is good. So the question is, what should we do about the future? I mean, obviously go all in on Bitcoin. It's like pretty obvious. Like if you could have bought Apple stock for like 50 cents a share back in like 1988, would you have done it? You know, obviously, even, I mean, I didn't quite follow my own advice because I had no money. But when I was 21 years old, getting my first job, and then Facebook IPO'd, I told my best friend to go all in on Facebook stock, and he did. And I hope he didn't sell that stock because it should be worth a lot of money. So another pro tip, when you're choosing places to live, don't live near somewhere with a lot of construction. Noise is not good for you. And also don't walk under construction sites. You could die. So to be a cyber monk is, you know, delete all social media. Like the only thing you have to care about is Bitcoin. So if you have Bitcoin, you could just like Bitcoin and chill. You don't have to check nothing. You know it's gonna go up forever. And during the day, you know, walk 30,000 steps a day, go to the gym, lift weights, fast, eat, dinner, hot sauna, massages. And I still really think that, yeah, like if you want to live in paradise, live in Phnom Penh. It's no second best city on the planet. And I think the only reason why people don't do this, my thought, maybe it is a courage thing, like, you know, to leave things behind in the States or whatevs. It takes a lot of courage. And even Peter Thiel says, in today's world, we're not in a shortage of geniuses. There's like 10 trillion geniuses out there. Like in Silicon Valley, everyone's a genius, right? And you know, honestly, I think all kids are genius. Like everyone's a genius, right? What we're lacking is courage, insight, and action, right? Like you don't want to be the dude opining about Bitcoin and never buying it. Like this is where Nassim Taleb's ideas get too, is like skin in the game. I call it coin in the game. One should not be entitled to an opinion about X, Y, and Z unless one is actually invested in it. So for example, don't make commentary about whatever stock unless you actually put your own real money in it. Like, because in today's world, what's really important is proof of commitment. So like, I've been long sailor at least the last year, and like I've at least 3x'd my Roth IRA monies, which is amazing. And I think the reason why people is foolish too, right? It's like, come on, you gotta be grateful. It's like, you know, Michael Saylor is moving at least probably 40% of the Bitcoin market. I mean, he invented the Bitcoin treasury company concept, right? Metaplanet all of y'all smart people who bought Metaplanet, you could actually buy MTPLF. I actually added some to my own position. You could buy in the States or in Germany or Japan 3350. And actually the reason why Metaplanet makes so much sense is I think if you buy and sell Bitcoin in Japan, it's like a 60% capital gain. Like it's something crazy, right? And so buying Metaplanet, and all the Japanese people trade stocks when they're in the subway, it's easily going to become the number one company in all of Japan. The number one retirement plan. It's going to be the solution to Japan's declining population. Like Simon and Dylan are essentially going to save the Japanese race. Yeah, I said it. Eric said Simon and Dylan Leclerc from Metaplanet is going to save the Japanese race. What I mean is, I mean, a lot of things, right? But I think actually one of the critical things is when there is no economic hope, you ain't finna have no kids because the thought is hey, you could barely afford to live yourself. How could you bring another child into the planet? And so maybe it actually is true that a lot of the population crisis is actually an economic issue. It's obviously cultural too, but if I think about this from a deep sociological thought, maybe a lot of the weird degeneracy is in fact stemmed from an economic issue rather than a moralistic social one. Because typically if you was wealthy, you want to have a bunch of kids, you're like, yeah, sure, why not? Have some BOGO kids. But if you was insanely impoverished, kind of hard to have kids, right? Especially if you're university educated. So as a consequence, think about this, that yeah, obviously the future is Bitcoin and barbells. So how does one become more zen about the planet? Delete all the social media apps from your phones. You don't need any of it. I mean, keep the messaging one, that's fine, but everything else is not necessary. B, force yourself to get a 90-minute massage, because you're gonna not look at your phone. And if anything, I mean, this is simple, right? Go home, turn off your phone all the way off, lock it in a drawer, and just read paperback books or, I don't know, hot sauna, whatever, right? Understand that 99% of the mental health issues in America right now, it's all probably coming from your phone, which affects your sleep, your dopamine, your serotonin, your adrenaline. Think about it this way, before you go to sleep, would you drink 2 jugs of cold brew coffee? No. If you have a kid and you're trying to put your kid to sleep, do you have them binge watch Netflix before going to sleep? No. So yeah, just don't be a dummy, buy Bitcoin.